Yeah.
Man, that was a super fun battle. Job by tonight's combatants, Razor and Justin from ALBORN. Let's enter the inner circle and ask the guys some questions. What's up, fellas?
How's it going, brother? I don't think I can match that intensity.
All right. It won't be intense the whole time. Hey, what did you guys think of my battle pick, huh?
That's a good one. We used to play that forever ago. You remember that, Raze?
Oh, fuck yeah, man. Oh,
Really?
I can't cuss on
We
here,
played
can
that
I?
at a couple shows.
I'll try to catch the edits.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting off strong.
Yeah, so, Brand Daler on most of those vocals. Is that the way you guys did it when you used to cover it?
I think we used to practice it sometimes that way, but I don't think we ever did it live that way.
It's such a good vocal performance, actually.
Yeah, it's sick. He's awesome.
All right, so question 1. Where did the name ALBORN come from?
Well, I used to try to have some sophisticated answer to it, but I mean, might as well not beat around the bush. I had a little one of them little dinky iPods in high school that I had all my demos on, and I had study hall with a kid that was going through my iPod the one day, just making fun of me for listening to myself. And then so I caved, and I was like, well, I got to have some kind of band name. And this was before I was with the rest of the guys. And we had a teacher get fired that week, and his last name was ALBORN. So there it is.
Gotcha. And if I remember right, it was ALBORN Theory. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I did that in high school, hoping that would rile everybody up,
You're right.
Trying to be edgy or whatever. But yeah, that was, and then we were a cover band mostly then. So so then once we decided we didn't want to do that anymore, I was like, well, let's not change the name, but we'll drop Theory and then do what we can from there.
That kind of goes into question 2. What bands were influential to you guys that maybe your parents or your weird uncles or the crazy aunts may have exposed you guys to before discovering your own music?
A lot of in being exposed by other people. Probably Chains was probably one of the biggest ones, kind of collectively. But Deftones was a big one that we kind of discovered on our own, and that was kind of right when we were starting to get in a niche of doing originals. What were some other major ones? Kind of ones in that new metal era. A lot of new metal stuff. It was just all over the spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of the just completely different side of what we play. Like Beatles. I'm huge into Beatles, and the Doors. I really like them. But but that self-titled album by Slipknot, my mom and dad found when they were on a walk. So it was right by high school. It was a burnt copy. Somebody just left on the side of the road or whatever. And I came home. I gave it all the toothpaste with a toothbrush. It was all scratched to H-E. All right, you can say hell. I can say hell. It was scratched to hell. Yeah, it was scratched to F. And I kept doing it and kept playing it, and it would play a little bit of the intro of the album. But the intro of the album is just an intro with a bunch of weird scratchy noises.
Yes.
So I take it back out and I probably put a whole tube of toothpaste on it because I'm like, I don't know what is on this disc. All they wrote was Slipknot in pen. And then, that album, just not hearing anything like that. I mean, I was like 10, It was just it was like a scary movie without the visuals.
Right.
I've been hooked to that ever since. I mean, it's such a cliche thing to talk about, when the switch flipped, but for me, that was it. I was terrified from nothing but audio, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. All right, question 3. How did the band come together? So when you gathered up the other guys, and when you guys first started off, what were some of the other cover songs that brought you inspiration to get to the originals? I know we kind of named a couple already, but
yeah,
you can't say As We Die Young either. I mean, I know you guys do that one.
Yeah, I had just graduated high school. I just found out that a kid that I thought was mine wasn't mine. And during all that, I had pretty much given up on music. And then yeah, once I found out it wasn't mine, I'm like, we're back, you know. But then I ended up jamming with Razor, who I had known my whole life, my entire life since he was born, but I had no idea he could play drums. And then courtesy of his mom, just pounding on my dad, you have to hear this kid play drums, you know. I played with him, and it was unreal. It was just immediately you knew, like, we have to do this, you know. So then I had already had some originals, but then we were just learning songs as a bulk, and then had some other friends in the area that we played with for a while, and then once we realized we actually wanted to turn it into something, you know, then we got Zame and Nate. But yeah, what were some of the good covers? Farley liked. He was the only one that ever knew the Finch song, "Bite Marks and Bloodstains." That was my favorite song to cover.
Oh yeah,
he was talking
that was a really good
story
one.
the other day.
Yeah,
he recorded for the 97X album, and you guys came in like band number 12 of the day, and he was like in a bad mood and getting grouchy because a lot of guys weren't pro, and he was talking about you guys, and I think he must have played that song as a warm-up or something, right? Does that sound right?
yeah.
And he was like, who are these guys? Who are these kids? Like, he had to get to know you guys a little bit better. It brought him back into
played that song, people thought it was ours, and I, you know, someday it would depend on how many of these I had. Some days I wouldn't correct him, and I'm like, I'm flattered to think that people think we could come up with this, you know. But he was the first person to ever. That whole time we played that song every single show. He was the first person to know it, other than obviously our band, and we're like, all right, so you're awesome, clearly. You know?
Our set list kind of was comprised, or it kind of fell into that, where we would kind of try to find a lot of the B-side stuff from popular bands, not because we were trying to claim them, but just kind of to bring to light a lot of the tunes that the rock bands around here that were doing covers, you know, wouldn't do. Like a lot of Stain came in later on once we started getting a little heavier. Few Cold songs, but stuff like that. We like to play kind of off the wall stuff.
Yeah, no, Stain makes a ton of sense. So does Cold, actually. So, all right, I didn't prep you guys for this one. This is a bonus question for me. You're at the bar. What's your go-to drink? We're not doing shots yet. We're just doing drinks.
I like to, at least if I'm completely sober, I usually start with a beer. A couple of the other guys usually just go right into the mixers.
Captain and Diet, baby.
Yeah. But
I'm always watching the figure and the diet stuff. That's good for you, actually. It's so not bad for you that it's good for you. So that's why we do the diet.
Yeah. It was usually universally rum and Coke was always the drink of choice, but we recently discovered Crown Apple and Sprite, and that's like refreshing like water, man. It's too dangerous, but it's delicious.
Nice. What are you drinking on tonight, Justin?
It's Captain and Diet, baby. This is Old Trusty.
Set sail.
Technically, it's even sweeter rum. Becky
So,
knows.
I'm a whiskey guy, so I'll usually go get an old fashioned. You can kind of know when you order an old fashioned how good the bar is. If the old fashioned sucks, I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to something a lot easier to make.
Well, because you gotta put like effort into making those what they're supposed to.
You do. Yeah, because it's the whiskey holds it up, and you're not adding a lot to the whiskey to make it right. It's not no soda or nothing in it. So,
what happens to you when you consume whiskey? Do you get angry? Do you get chill? What happens?
I usually don't get angry, Justin.
What do you get? What happens?
No, I get happy.
Get loud?
I get jovial. I do get loud. I get really loud. I like to be
the one booze that I've noticed that everybody reacts to differently.
correct.
Either way, whatever it is, it's extreme. Like, I'm an ass on whiskey, dude.
All right, Scott. Late in the evening, we're doing shots. What are we doing?
Rumplemans.
Picklebacks.
Sure.
No Rumplemans. I'm out on the Rumplemans.
You don't like those?
I'm just over them, man.
Oh, we haven't had that many. That's just like a Rock Falls thing.
It's like I'm chewing a Willy Wonka piece of gum. It's so minty.
Okay,
What was yours, Razor? I didn't hear it.
We're learning together, Wonk.
Yeah.
Wow. I like picklebacks. Well, I don't
Pickleback,
I don't like picklebacks. The Jameson is tough to get through, but the pickle juice cutting it out, and it's like immediate warmth in the belly right now. That's why I like it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Come on.
All right. You guys have a concert coming up at the Redstone Room. The
Correct.
Holiday Hangover, Saturday, January 13th, with Discrepancies, who was my second interview, Arson City, and 5 a.m. But what other concerts or festivals were you most memorable to be a part of?
I mean, really, the last year, the anything we did in the QC, like our release party, that might sound a little self-centered, but that one's probably going to stick with me for a long time. Like, I love the Redstone Room as a venue. It's just super badass. The staff is always great to us. The fans that show up, they come to throw down for real. Other than that, I mean, every time we've been blessed to take the stage at the Rust Belt, that's just because that's such a major caliber compared to what we're typically used to.
Yep.
It's a unique feeling in the sense that seeing that many people out in front of you, you don't experience it every weekend,
Yep.
I probably agree. Otherwise, that last Rust Belt show we did with Nonpoint, but I hated our performance so much. We had so many equipment failures that it was just one thing after another. But that one, I don't even remember. I said something because I was in panic mode. So I started talking for a minute while we were trying to get stuff fixed, and people started cheering, and then it just didn't stop. And every time I thought it was going to start dialing down, it just ramped up, and then I wouldn't even say anything, and it just kept getting louder and louder. I remember there's a video of it on YouTube somewhere. I just started looking around. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But then we went right into the brand new one, and that moment, I mean, I don't. It's hard to. I'm so in the zone when we play shows that I don't really take a moment to take it all in, and that's all I've learned from people with more experience is you have to be able to take those moments in. Yep. And I just have such a hard time with it. But that moment I had, like, the applause was so long that I'm not even sure the people knew what they were applauding for. I was like, I'm gonna take a second to actually like absorb it. So that one was cool. But the album release party, I mean, that was the shit.
Yeah.
That was the SH, man.
It's all good.
You were there?
Hey, I had a great time at that.
You set the fire alarm off. I'm almost positive it was.
Oh, I know it was you.
Yep. Oh, of course. Discrepancies was on fire though, and they actually said, I don't know if you had talked to them guys. Brandon said their very next show after that one, the fire alarm went off again.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I'm like, dude,
So it's their fault.
But if you guys want to take the fall,
yes. All right. You got anything that was like a worse experience or a venue that you're like, blacklisted, we're not doing this again?
What do you got, Raze?
Mine has nothing to do with a show itself. It's between shows when we were between Atlanta and Alabama on the side of the interstate with a band that would not circulate coolant, and it was on New Year's Day, and we had to try to figure out how to get X amount of hours away to the next show, and so we had to basically ditch our van, rent another one that was a 2-seater, cram 5 guys in it and all of our gear, drive to Alabama, play the show, turn around and drive back to Atlanta to get our van back the next day. And then on the way home, since it took an extra day, we got stuck in the middle of a snowstorm in the middle of Tennessee where it doesn't normally snow, so they don't have proper precautions.
Yeah.
So coming down the side of a mountain, fully loaded van and trailer in the middle of the night, that was pretty sketchy. I can't think of a whole lot of things to top top that stuff. Plenty of great experiences to surround it, but the bad experiences were when they were there. They were there.
Yep.
I think, well, yeah, mine for sure, which is completely individual, was I had a go-kart that dude, I had I was at the time, I think I was like a 22 or 3-year-old adult male, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know what I've been doing all these years without a go-kart. I need a go-kart, So I bought one, and it was the 4th of July, and I jump it, and I beat myself up bad. We had a show like 4 days after that. Well, my head was all swollen. We actually filmed the video for Full Circle, like not long after that happened. You can see my eye; it's all puffed up.
Yeah.
It's all red. But then before we shot the video, we had a show in Dixon. It was outside on a big stage. It was they have a thing called Petunia Fest, and it was so hot that it was like it felt like every injury that I sustained flipping that go-kart. I jumped the go-kart over a bonfire. And I launched it. I launched I was going like 40 mile an hour and just ate so much. I'm talking about myself, so just beep it. Shit! It was so bad, dude. So then we're playing the show and it's like 110 degrees and it just keeps getting hotter and my head's pounding harder and I'm like, I thought I was going to faint for about 15 seconds. And right then, out of nowhere, it just started pouring. And they canceled it. So, like...
Crazy. Yeah.
That dude was hanging out. He listens to ALBORN every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. He was like R. Kelly. He's like, I'll piss on you.
All right, so I saw you guys recently went to Vegas, and that's again, right? You guys had already been out there. Is that true or not?
Correct. This is our second trip out.
All right, and tracking some new material, which I know everybody's gonna be excited for. Explain what that trip was like outside of recording. How you guys experienced being together in a place like that. How the 4 of you guys explain how that experience works itself out.
I mean, it's we spend a lot of time in a van where there's we have a makeshift bed in the back of it and stuff, but it's not the same as a Toyota RAV4. You know what I mean? So
right.
The size and space to get away from everybody else is eliminated. So that is just a test. It's just a further test of our patience with each other. But being there where we stayed, especially, we stayed at like I don't remember the name of the hotel, Sahara, right?
Yeah, it was the Sahara.
I kept calling it the Ramada. I got it.
I think that's the first time.
And this place is huge, and it's got like 40 stories. It's obnoxiously large, but all we did was work. So it was like we leave early for the studio, we come back when we're done, and then we go in this massive hotel. We spend 50 minutes just getting to our room. I mean, anytime anybody asks, what was it like in Vegas, man? What? Like, we didn't do anything. We just we go to the hotel and drink beer, and I would write lyrics. I'd pass some ideas off with the guys. We'd talk about what's gonna get accomplished next day, and we'd watch some stupid HBO movie or whatever was on TV. I mean, we didn't party. We're not partiers anyway. I mean, we like beer, but we like beer with us or like a small group. We're bad with large crowds, which is insanely ironic. I understand. Yeah, how'd you do with everybody, Raze?
Yeah, Razor.
What? You cut out on me. What? You want me to elaborate?
Yeah, that was my take. It seemed like you got a little irritated with Nate for a little bit.
Oh, there we go. That's what I'm looking for.
No, he just exposed his weaknesses when we would take it too far, and we capitalized on that. And first of all, the basis is he's he's suspect number 1. I'm just an accomplice.
Gotcha. Yes.
But yeah, I would think all of our experiences were pretty similar. I mean, it went by super quick just because there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. I mean, the one section of time that we did take off, or take a break, just because we got ahead of schedule because we were grinding them out. We decided to go to the Hoover Dam, which was like a 45-minute drive, and we were there for a couple hours. Took some pictures, came back, and then it was time to go to bed and get up in the morning and go right back to it. So, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better spend of time, but it was, we wanted to squeeze as much out as we could. So it was just, sun up to sundown.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. All right. So originally I was going to ask you guys a little bit about Push, but I started going through you guys's, your set list on Spotify, and I was like, oh, you know what? I would rather ask about Learn to Live, because I really thought the video was cool, how you guys did that. In some ways, brought me back to when I had a little big wheel. They didn't look like that, but can you guys tell me something cool about, number one, recording that song, because I think it's a killer story, and then something cool about the video?
Well, as far as the video, it was super personal to us, because, well, I mean, individually me, because it was recorded out, the majority of the footage was recorded out at my family's farm when my great-grandparents used to live. They're obviously both passed now, but it's still in the family. And then all of the actors are tied to me, like at the beginning of the video, the girl and the guy arguing are my fiance and her brother. And then the child, Andrew, who's in the whole video, is Cody's son. So be, Kaylee's aunt, my fiance, or Kaylee's nephew. Sorry, Jesus. But I don't know. It was just super easy. Like we kind of had the concept planned out. Justin had great ideas. And we used Gibbs to record it. We've worked with him before. He had the vision very well kind of thought out to start with. There wasn't a whole lot of edits that had to be made. So honestly, to date, I'm probably happiest with, that video amongst all the other ones.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how to expand on that, because we spent a lot of time, me and Ray's, solidifying the ideas for the video and the planning. And I was like, I have 3 nephews. And I was like, I told Ray's, I'm like, I don't know why I think Andrew would be perfect for this. He's like, I don't know if it's just his, like, dude's like, he's got a face, man. Like just a serious attitude all the time. I was like, I bet that could be portrayed. I was like, just see if he would be cool with it. And he asked him, you tell a story, because that story's like my favorite, about running upstairs.
Oh yeah. So he's, what is he, 3.5 or 4? Getting ready to be 4, I think. 4 or 5. I can't remember. Anyways, he's a little toddler kid, like you try to tell a toddler boy what to do, or try to get him to visualize what a music video even is, and that it's not real life, So basically, I went up to his dad one day and I was like, we have this concept for a video. We think Andrew would be perfect. And we were at his grandma's house. So he's like, all right, I guess I can be in the video, but I better go upstairs and start practicing. And he's got this little, like my first playtime drum kit thing. Just goes up there, starts wailing on them things. He always does anyways. But he's like, what do you think? I was like, dude, you're gonna be great. Fully knowing in the back of the head, and I wasn't gonna tell him, you will be playing no drums in this video. You're gonna be riding a bike all afternoon. But then I wasn't there for it. But my fiance and her mom and stuff were saying, like, he had his t-ball games, and he's like up to all the the little girls. He's like, well, I better tell these chicks. Like, I'm kind of in a band now, so I'm probably gonna be out of here pretty soon.
Nice.
He's got that cockiness to him as it is, but he was a better actor than I'll ever be. So I'm glad.
I hope he pursues that, dude. I don't know if that's any influence as to what he decides to do with the rest of his life. He knows there's some accolades that are owed. You know?
I want my royalty checks, my mailbox.
Yeah. Well, maybe you guys can just bring him in for another one.
Yeah. He's got to grow his hair out for the next one.
So how about the lyrics, Justin?
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like I try to say, I don't try to say anything on purpose, you know, like, it's like, the only way I can explain it is when I'm writing lyrics, it's my subconscious talking through me. It's almost like having a dream. Like I'm just trying to fill the gaps.
Yep.
When we're writing a song, I hear a melody. I want a melody here. I want some vocal pattern here, but I refuse to track vocals unless I have English words to say. Like I have to be speaking something. I don't do the mumble thingy, you know. But when I come up with those words, they usually end up saying some kind of message of some sort. And I like to believe that that is some kind of feeling or emotion or vibe that I'm getting from the song itself, you know?
Yeah.
And that one, the majority of those lyrics aren't changed from when I was just, you know, they call it cavemanning. When I was caveman lyrics, it was just like, you know, all along I was on my own side. I know for a fact that was from the original. You know, I should have learned to live without the fear. I know that was from the original. When all is said and done, will you wait? You know, so it was like, you know, I can try to figure out what I was actually talking about, and put a story together, but it's almost better just to appreciate the moment in time that happened and whatever was going through my head at that time, or whatever feeling I was getting from that song when it was being created, because you can't duplicate that, you know. And I've learned that more and more, especially with this last batch of songs. Like you just trust your instinct and you go with it, and it's probably gonna be, I'm nothing special, so, and I'm nothing unique, so I'm probably relatable to other people. Other people are probably gonna be able to connect in one way or another without me having to try to. Like that's my goal as a lyricist. Just do me, and if people can connect, that's awesome, you know.
Very cool. I mean,
but overall, without talking too much, it was just the frustration of being in the fucking Midwest. Sorry. Frustration of being in the effing Midwest, doing a blue collar job, you know, like, and looking back at the time that's wasted and being like, what the hell was I doing in my life? I should have been out there, whatever, you know, that whole thing.
Yeah. And I think that's something cool that I get from you guys is I can tell you guys are blue collar. Like I get it. And probably because I'm a Midwest dude too, but I get that vibe from you guys. And that's, you know, I think that connects with a lot of people. So you guys are onto it.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't want to stray from it either. It seems like you know, some of the bigger names that we've worked with over the years, even if it was just briefly, you know, even if we just had a conversation with them, you know, it was just like they just shun upon that, and like the wardrobes and the attitudes, and I'm like, I have never not been exactly what I am, you know. Like, I'm sorry if that doesn't appeal to the eyes of somebody who was a diehard Kiss fan, and I have nothing against Kiss, but that's like a totally different ballgame. Like that shouldn't even be talked about in the same conversation as somebody like us, you know. And at the same time, I don't think we're crazy unique. I mean, there's a million bands that dress exactly how they want, you know. Chevelle, Tool, even Seven Dust, dude. Look at it. They're just dudes, you know. They're just good old dudes. So it's like, it's just interesting whenever it's like, you gotta have a stage presence. It's like you can have a presence without having a get up. You know what I mean? Right.
Yep. And you're talking to somebody that goes all out on my get up. So sometimes I wish I didn't. So,
but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. There is a certain type of music and band where that not only works, but it's like that is the thing, you know. But that isn't mandatory.
Right.
Where it's a little different, I'd be saying, say the norm was to wear Carhartts and Dickies and look like your average jerk off at a factory. Say that was the main thing. That's not the only thing. There isn't an only thing in the music business. There's a million options. You know, there's a million different avenues you can take with anything. So it's just, I don't know, man. It's weird. It's weird when people get involved and they're like, you got to do this. It's like, no, you don't, dude.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think you guys should stick with it. I think it's been paying off, and I connect with it because I'm a blue collar guy. I do construction. I get it. It's a lot of work. It's great to go do music. And to get away from that blue collar idea. So I think it's cool.
Thank you,
All right. So question 7. I did not prep you guys for this one, but I like to ask the bands, who's next? Who are the up and coming bands you guys have played with that might make it to the next level? You got any names?
Well, it was brought to my attention that our homies in Widow 7 happened to shout us out when you had them on. And
They did.
even had they not done that, that would have been my answer anyways, but I'm just going to return the favor because they're going nuts right now. It's just unbelievable to see, and I'm super proud and happy for those guys because they're all super down to earth and good dudes that deserve it, and they bust their asses. I'd imagine it's just going to keep going up for them, doing the festivals and stuff that they're getting on, and constantly releasing tunes and content and stuff like that. It's just super cool to see, a band that we're practically neighbors with out of Des Moines, really just skyrocketing in such a short amount of time. But yeah, they're going somewhere for sure.
I mean, we don't usually play with bands I don't like, which is crazy. I figured I would be like the fussiest person to just nitpick nonstop, and it's like, we play with discrepancies very frequently. How they're not the biggest band in that genre right now, I have no idea. But even Non Grata, we play with them a lot. They're phenomenal. Yeah. I think that's just a matter of time band. So-called Saints. They're on the way heavier side, but they're a matter of time band. It's just so good. Like that. Everybody we play with is awesome. We're fortunate for that in this area. I'll say that. Like whatever anybody else wants to claim about their area, their home base for what they have to offer, ours has talent, like good quality, time devoted talent that I guess I've never lived anywhere, so I can't compare it to anything, but that's what I recognize from ALBORN playing in the QC.
Yeah, and quite a bit older than you guys. There was a scene when I was in Hop that I thought for sure there'd be 4 or 5 bands popping out of here. There was so much talent, and I think even outside of metal bands, there's so much talent in musicians. Something about the QC, I don't know what it is, but you're 100% correct.
Yeah, so, you just gotta push through, All
right, my last bonus question for you guys, and I did not ask the other guys that. I kind of forgot about it, but is there anything about me that you guys want to know?
Are you like a multi-instrumentalist, or are you just down one avenue?
So I tried to play bass in high school and got bored with it because I kept getting opportunities to do vocals, and that's really what I wanted to do anyways. But I do have the knack for arrangement. So when we used to write, I would suggest arrangement stuff to the guitar players or whatever. So what do you think, Justin?
What's the history look like for your band timelines? Like, you got the Zombie Experience now.
Yeah. So that was 2 years. We're on 2 years now. Honestly, if I thought something like this was gonna take off like it kind of has, I probably would have done it like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome, dude. Good for you, man.
So in high school, I was in a bunch of terrible projects. But all that was lessons. The first band out of high school that kind of we got traction with was Hop. And we played up at the Pig Pen in Clinton quite often. The first national we got to open for was Dope. So And I was together with those guys for 3 years. We started putting together what we thought was going to be the start of an album, and the band disintegrated, unfortunately. But I kind of had stuff going on with, like, we were a bud band back then, which they don't even do that anymore. But I had these relationships. Yeah, Budweiser band.
Oh, nice.
Budweiser, yeah. So Budweiser, wherever we played at, they would throw up posters and they'd have a case of beer for us sitting there. It was so cool.
Nice.
That's amazing.
So
Who
that
do we
went
need to talk to get that?
they don't do it anymore, man. Unfortunately. Yeah. Believe me, I so that went to 2003, and then I joined I was part of forming up a death metal band called Painstake. And fortunately, being death metal, you kind of get stuck in a pocket that I didn't want to be in, because hop was more, to me, new metal with what we were doing, and popularity was way better.
Right.
And I tried everything I could to kind of push that out there, and we kept getting these shows with bands I wasn't happy playing with. And then it kind of wore me down to the point where I wanted to get out. I just tired of the scene. So I was actually out of music for 10 years.
No shit. No.
Yep.
Dude,
10
I'm so
years.
sick of this cousin thing.
No, I always did my own stuff, man. You know, it was just dealing with people. It just kind of wore me down. So, thank goodness when iRock 935 started, Brian Miner kept bringing me in as a character on his show. So that's kind of where it blossomed from there with the Wonk Zilla thing was Miner. So props to him.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good dude.
That's all I got for questions. This has been super cool. You guys want to talk about that show again that's coming up next weekend?
Yeah, looking friggin' forward to it, man, big time. I'm really looking forward to sharing the stage with them Arson City guys. Tom, our manager, commended them and said they were kind of the real deal, and happy to have them coming through. So I'm looking forward to seeing new faces in the QC is always great. But anytime we get a chance to meet some new musicians, that's probably what I'm looking forward to most.
Yeah. The hometown shows are always like, when you can keep it all inclusive, that's a special thing. Discrepancies is St. Louis, but it's still very Midwest. When we did the last EP release, it was a lot of hometown bands. Now that we can, this one is a little more outsourced, that's like a whole new excitement for me, at least, So it should be a fun one. It'll be a throwdown.
Yep. Saturday, January 13th at the Redstone Room. Make sure everybody comes out and see them. Tickets are available. How do you get the tickets, guys?
There's a link online.
Okay.
Everywhere online through iRock.
iRock app, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm sure they'll be doing door stuff. But I pushed the link. Pre-sale numbers, baby.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Cool.
Last time they weren't doing doors because it pulled out, so I wouldn't count on that. I'm not just saying that to say it. Last time they said no doors.
Yeah, get them now.
Gotcha. All right, you heard it here first. I got Alborn here in the inner circle on Under the Influence with Wonk Zilla. Guys, thank you so much. That was super fun.
Thank you for having us, man. Appreciate it.